Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Ashley Biggs. I'm the Marketing and Outreach Librarian for the Maryland State Library for the Blind and Print Disabled. I want to thank my partners in crime today, whom I have actually been emailing for years, so it's nice to put a face to the name. The Rural Maryland Council has shared out our information before. It has been a few years. So I thought it was nice to touch base and say, hey, are you willing to do this? And they, of course, said yes. For those who don't know, they are an amazing organization that helps advocate for rural communities. And I encourage you to go and check them out on their website and learn about the programs and services that they do offer. At the end of the presentation, I would love it if Charlotte, Molly, Lisa, and Megan do their little, do a little elevator speech about all the awesome things they do, because I want to make sure that that gets included. So today we are going to talk about the Library for the Blind and Print Disabled here in Maryland. So just to give you an overview, make sure my slide moves here. The mission of the Maryland State Library for the Blind and Print Disabled is to provide comprehensive library services to individuals who are blind, low vision, physically unable to hold a book or turn a page, or individuals who have print disabilities like dyslexia. It is geared towards all residents of Maryland. So you do have to be a Maryland resident. For those of you who like to do multiple states, going back and forth, every state has a library like ours. We are all part of the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, provided by the Library of Congress. Our vision is to promote and provide innovative and quality services that meets our patrons' needs and expectations. So a little bit about us. On my screen is a digital talking book machine and a digital talking book cartridge. There's text on my screen. The text says "About Us," and it has several bullets, which I'll go over. There is a quote on the screen that says, "LBPD is a great place where friendly and knowledgeable staff organize a variety of enjoyable programs," from an LBPD patron. So a little bit about us. We provide books and magazines in Braille. We provide books and magazines in audio. We provide books in large print, accessible technology training, accessible textbooks for college students, public computers with accessibility software, and events and programs. So you'll find as I'm giving this presentation that I will be describing what is on the screen. That is because we understand that there are individuals who may not be able to access the screen. So I do apologize if it seems redundant, but I want to make sure that everyone feels included. I'm going to the next slide. The next slide is about our digital talking book player. The digital talking book player is a machine that is approximately 9 inches by 6 inches and about 2 inches thick. It weighs about 2 pounds. It's not very heavy, and it has buttons on top. There's a picture displayed on the slide. The player takes a digital cartridge that goes into the front of the player. The cartridge is a big USB drive. That's all. So these things are really hard to break, I promise. With the exception of the one person who put it in a trash compactor, I promise it is not easy to break. Everyone goes, oh my God, it's so, no, just no trash compactors. The digital talking book machine is easy to use. All the buttons talk to you. So there's no fiddling with a heavy instruction book or trying to get a video on how to use it from YouTube. All the instructions are built in. Real human voice recordings are talking to you. So it's going to be a real human voice in every book and magazine that we offer. There is a USB slot on the side so that if you choose to download books from our online services, you can play them on the player. Each cartridge that we send holds between 5 and 25 books. So there is a possibility to easily get 100 books at a time. You know, just a little bit of a library thing. We like to get books out. And then finally, we do offer accessories like headphones, breath switches, and pillow speakers. All of the materials are sent through the U.S. Postal Service, so everything is done through the mail. Postage is paid back and forth, so you don't have to worry about getting it to the post office. Your post person already knows how to use this service. The quote on the screen says, "I rely on these books. It keeps me active in the real world." My next slide is about the Braille e-reader. The Braille e-reader is approximately 6 inches long, an inch thick, and about 3 inches wide. It holds 20 cells of Braille, and it has a keyboard attached. The Braille reader is by Humanware and has a 20-cell Braille display, 8 Perkins-style keys, and you can download electronic Braille through Bard or transfer them from a cartridge just like you would for the player. It's lightweight and portable. It allows you to have direct Wi-Fi access. And the Braille e-reader is designed for those who want to take their books on the go. For those who don't know, print Braille can be very heavy. One patron is quoted as saying, "The Braille e-reader enables me to read all of my books in electronic format. Not only books, but magazines I would not otherwise have access to." The next slide is about Bard, B-A-R-D. That is our free app that you can download and listen to your books on the go. For those who don't know, many smart devices have assistive technology, which allows you to turn on voiceover or talkback and navigate your phone with taps and swipes. Many of our patrons who are blind, have low vision, a physical disability, or print disabilities do prefer to download their books and take them wherever they go. It's also nice because you can connect to Bluetooth headphones, set your phone down, and walk away, as opposed to having to carry that player around. You can access 10,000 books, tens of thousands of books, from current bestsellers to classics, popular magazines, music instruction and scores in audio and electronic Braille. And the layout is very similar to the digital talking book machine. So if you're used to one, it is easy to transfer to the other. It uses data or Wi-Fi. We do recommend that you download over Wi-Fi as opposed to over your data plan because you don't want to cap yourself out. But there are times, especially in rural areas, where Wi-Fi is not accessible and you're relying on cell tower. Sure that if you are download over data so that you can get your books anywhere. Our next slide is about the technology user group. This is a group that meets monthly to discuss the latest in adaptive technology. We meet via Zoom, and it's a Skillshare opportunity. It's an opportunity to share cool things that you have learned, either about adaptive technology or adapting technology to your needs. We bring in guest speakers. We have assistive technology training, and all of the events are recorded and archived. The quote on the screen is, "These meetings are insightful and impactful. I really enjoy attending them each month." For those of you who are going to college or going back to school, we do provide a textbook program. The textbook program is designed for 2 to 4 year college students, and it helps them for students who are enrolled in brick and mortar colleges in Maryland. So you do have to be in a physical Maryland school, but this could be a community college. This could be a trade school where you're getting a 2-year degree, or it could be a 4-year institution. As you know, many schools require you to buy the textbooks or use open source material that may not be accessible to those who have visual, physical, or organic reading disabilities. So we work in conjunction with the DSS office. Students purchase their books, and we will either find the book in an accessible format or convert the book into an accessible format. The formats that we offer are MP3, PDF, EPUB, and large print. The quote on the screen says, "You and the rest of the team are filling the gaps that universities are neglecting and leaving wide open, expecting us to fall in. Thank you for being my safety net." And on the screen is a college student who is reading his book in Braille. We do offer some supplementary services that are free. One is called Bookshare. Bookshare is an audiobook and ebook warehouse that people with physical reading or blindness can download books, primarily in synthetic voice, to listen to on the go. You do need a mobile app to use it. And it's a direct download to a smart device. If you choose, you can download the books for the digital talking book machine, but there is a couple of steps that you have to do, and we will teach you that. Again, it is a synthetic reading voice for the most part. They are starting to add human voice books, but those can take some time. So we do encourage everyone when they are using Bookshare to be patient as they add new books to the collection. If you are a library patron, this is free. You can absolutely access it at any time. The quote on the screen says, "Bookshare is something of a hidden gem. It offers niche books, and it lets me download books on the go." Our next slide is about NFB Newsline. NFB Newsline is a free audio news service for anyone who is blind, low vision, deafblind, or otherwise print disabled. And it provides access to magazines, periodicals, newspapers, emergency weather alerts, job listings. If you are someone who wants to read the weekly circular for the grocery store, it's probably there. So it is designed to give you access to updated news. It is national and regional. Ironically housed here in Maryland through the National Federation of the Blind. And it's designed to be accessible over the phone, via the internet, and of course, a mobile app. It does use a synthetic reading voice. The idea is that they update it multiple times a day. So they can't do that with a human voice. So they use a synthetic reading voice. It's not unlike Siri. It's very pleasant and very cheerful. It is a cheerful voice, which is good. You know how sometimes you get those synthetic voices and they're just not, you're like, what? Yeah, no, this is a good voice, I promise. The other thing you can do is call in and get emergency weather alerts. That allows you to plan your day if you need to, which is really kind of cool. The quote on the screen is, "I enjoy listening to NFB Newsline because it gives me access to my regional newspaper and my favorite magazine." The next slide is about the library's programming and events. The library does provide many opportunities for community engagement. Personally, I am responsible for programs and events for those who are 18 and above. My cohort, LaShawn, is responsible for youth from 0 to 21. So while we overlap, we try to do combined programs whenever possible. There are times where she's focused specifically on youth and I'm focused specifically on adults. So it's kind of a great opportunity. We provide reading challenges throughout the year. We actually just had one. We had a virtual hike, and you read your way through the 100-acre woods of Winnie the Pooh. Now, it was not geared towards children. It was an adult program, but we had several kids go, "Oh my God, can I join?" I'm never going to say no. So for that, we did programs around that theme. We had scones, we did a tea tasting, we watched a movie. I mean, it was great. We had a lot of fun. Our summer reading challenge is coming up, so we're going to encourage people to keep reading throughout the summer, and be part of physical activity to kind of get out there in the community. We do offer tactile tours at institutions. Our most recent was at the Guinness Brewery. We went to the Guinness Brewery and had a tasting and an aromatic event. It was great. We offer crafts and games in tactile formats so that everybody can be included. We bring in guest speakers, both in person and virtually, so that we can serve the entire state. We have podcasts, and we put out a podcast every month called LBPD Guest Hour. And we just bring in someone from the community to talk about what they do and how you can access their services. We have live podcasts that happen from time to time, which is like, you know, the National Weather Service coming in and talking about hurricane preparedness and things like that. And we do partner events and programs. We work with other organizations to really make this a robust library. And what you typically get when you go into a public library is programs, events, books, magazines, anything you can imagine, they provide. We do pretty much the same thing, but across the state. The quote on the screen is, LBPD is a great place where friendly and knowledgeable staff organize a variety of enjoyable programs. So I've hit you with a lot of information about what we do. And, you know, to sum up so that you have an idea, if you walk away with nothing, is we are a library geared towards individuals who cannot see a book, hold a book, turn a page, or cannot process print. Now, it's very important that I go over eligibility. I do need to state that cognitive and developmental disabilities do not automatically qualify for service. That means an individual who has a developmental disability or a cognitive issue may not qualify for service unless they are also print disabled due to a physical, organic, or visual reason. So under visual, patrons whose visual impairment with correction, regardless of optical measurement, is certified by a competent authority as being prevented from reading standard print. That's the federal government's term. Let me break it down to you. It basically means if you can't see large print, we're your library. We can help you. Those people with physical disabilities, persons certified by an authority as unable to read or unable to use standard print material as the result of physical limitations. Now, this can be someone who can't hold a book or turn a page. This is especially prominent in individuals who've had a traumatic brain injury or a stroke, where they have left or right neglect and they're not able to physically turn a book or hold a page, hold a book or turn a page. So you may see that out in your community. And then there's people qualified under print disability. That's a person certified by an authority as having a reading disability stemming from an organic dysfunction and of such severity that it prevents them from reading printed material. That's going to be individuals who are severely dyslexic. Individuals, again, who've had a traumatic brain injury where cognition is in place, but you have to give them everything auditorially. So that's the bulk of what we serve. Who can sign the application is usually the next question I get. And that we call that a certifying authority. That's going to be your doctor, your nurse, your rehabilitation teacher, your speech pathologist, professional staff at an institution that say you meet criteria for service. And they sign the application on your behalf and submit it back to us, and we process it. We process all the applications within 3 business days. And depending on your selections, we either send you a digital talking book player or we send you the information to download books on the go. A couple of frequently asked questions that I get all the time is, do you offer music? No, we don't, but we do offer music instruction and music contemporary commentary. Commentary. So we do offer musical scores and books in Braille and large print, also known as bold note, and instructional materials. So if you're hankering to learn that guitar, we got you covered. But if you want to listen to guitar music, we can't help you. It's kind of it's a thing. What does this cost? It's always free. Everything we do is free. We have never charged a patron for any of our services. Even our programs and events are completely free. So we do our best to make sure that it's inclusive. We don't want financial barriers being the reason you don't use the library. So there's no fines, there's no fees. And how do you get material? Most physical materials are mailed to you through the U.S. Postal Service. Postage is paid by the library, so you never have to pay postage. It all goes back and forth. Everything comes with a mailing card. One side has our address, the other side has your address. It is color coded for those who have low vision, and there's a punch hole that indicates whether or not it's turned which direction for those who are completely blind. So finally, how do you contact us? Well, you can go to our website, you can call us, you can email us, and I have some people who tweet at me. They like to tweet. We don't, it's funny. Twitter is still the only really accessible software out there for social media, but people like to tweet at us. So we get lots of tweets. If that's your jam, knock yourself out. You can Facebook us. That works too. We have Instagram. We're getting on Blue Sky. We're getting on we're on everything, y'all. I promise. You can get to us through social media. So I've hit you with a lot of information. I know some of it's probably like swirling around and you're like, oh my gosh, but I'm here to answer questions and respect your time. So if you'd like to ask questions, please feel free to take yourself off mute or drop it in the chat.
Well, I'll ask a question while people are thinking. Say we have somebody we know might be interested in your services. How do we connect them with you?
So the best way to reach the library is through the telephone. That number is 410-230-2424. There will be an automated prompt that will ask you what department you're looking for. You would just follow the prompt. We are staffed Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and we return calls between 9 and 4. Our website, of course, is always open. That is lbpd.maryland.gov. There you can find the application, you can find brochures, a list of upcoming events, past program recordings, all that good stuff.
Do you have a calendar of events available on the website?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It's available as an actual calendar, and below the calendar are the direct links to each event.
Great.
It's designed so that the screen readers can make sure everyone can get the same information. I should say that most of our events are free and open to the public. There are rare occasions where we have to limit it to people who are patrons and not their caregivers and families. That's simply because of guidelines from the institution that we're working with.
Geez, I don't want to dominate the conversation. I keep waiting for somebody else to jump in, but I mean, you remind me, it's part of your presentation reminded me of RMC's work in digital inclusion.
Mhm.
Our broad policy is assets, affordability, and adaptability, and making sure that that assistive technology is out there. You mentioned a group, so if folks were interested in being more of a part of that conversation, would we contact you, or how would we get involved in that?
So the technology user group meets via Zoom. The website, the Zoom link is on our website. It also goes out through our e-blasts to people who sign up for our newsletter. But it is free and it's open to everyone. It is called the Technology User Group. We call it TUG for short. And again, the link is directly on our website under the Technology User Group tab. So you can get to that, you can click it and it takes you right there to the next available program.
Great. You might see us there.
Well, I don't hear any other questions and I don't see any questions in the chat. Would you like to, Charlotte, talk a little bit about RMC and what you guys do?
Sure. I appreciate the opportunity. Especially really appreciate you coming and, presenting this to this group. It's always important to make sure that we're inclusive of everyone. So the RMC, we're an independent state agency in the Maryland Department of Agriculture. We administer grant programs, one called the Maryland Agriculture Education and Rural Development Assistance Fund, meant to build capacity for rural serving nonprofits. And then we also administer the Rural Maryland Prosperity Investment Fund, which supports our regional councils, entrepreneurship, infrastructure development, and access to health. So I believe we granted the library MARDAF grant a few years ago to train and go out into rural communities. So you're an example of something we look for in terms of how we build and make sure that our rural communities are inclusive and are prospering, that everybody is prospering. And what we see in rural is because of our, dispersed population, a lot of social isolation. So, and it is hard to reach some of our rural residents because of lack of access to transportation. So, things that you're doing, so we are completely in support of everything that the library has been doing, because we feel that it's important for our rural communities, and to, have the access to these types of services is so important. So we're actually accepting letters of intent to apply for the fiscal year 2026. We're really thankful to Governor Moore and the General Assembly for our funding to support that. And we're happy to talk to anybody offline about that. We also advocate. So like I said, definitely making sure that we're inclusive is something we support across all of our policy sectors. And so it isn't just the broadband, related to broadband, but across education, employment, and health, and making sure that we've got culturally competent care that can understand communities, and how to communicate appropriately with those communities. So that's just a little bit about us. My staff is here, but we definitely appreciate everybody, the participants here, your willingness to be here today. And if ever the RMC can be helpful, we're here as well. And just trying to improve the quality of life in rural Maryland.
I love it. I love it 100% because, we do have patrons who are homebound because of their vision or physical disabilities. And, we try to reach them as much as we can. And we rely on organizations like yours and the public library to share out good information. So thank you for all that you do. Well, folks, I want to respect everyone's time. It is 10:33. I'm going to stop the recording and the transcripts. And if you have any questions that you didn't want to put out there, but you want to follow up, feel free to contact me at the library. I'll make sure that our RMC has my contact information. And you'll get an email from us with a copy of the recording, a transcript, and all the goodies that you can take out into your community. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful week.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for this. This is very, very helpful and informative.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.